Hi guys, I just did my skincare. It's the evening time, so I'm a glazed donut at the moment, so don't mind. I am spending New Year's Eve alone this year, and that's of my own choosing. You know what I'm saying. That's my own doing. I am spending New Year's alone this year, and I'm actually kind of excited about it. I love my friends so much, I love my partner so much, I love my family so much, but it just worked out this year that everyone's kind of doing their own thing. My friends are at a music festival in Brisbane, and I'm not really a city girl, I'm not really a crowds girl. I didn't really have interest in that this year. So anyway, our friend just came over and it scared the shit out of me. I forget what I was saying. Yeah, spending the weekend alone, but I feel like it's a perfect opportunity to do some like reflecting and journaling and resolutioning. Tonight, this is the day before New Year's Eve. It's New Year's Eve. I want to try a new recipe, so I'm making a pasta recipe that I found on Pinterest. I'll show a little photo. And I have no one else to talk to, so I'll talk to you while I cook. We have got pasta, passata, garlic, paprika, chili, sun-dried tomatoes, shallots, eggplant, parsley, and ricotta. Usually when I try new recipes, I kind of just skim the recipe, get the gist, buy the ingredients, and then I don't really look at it again. I kind of just like do whatever I want to do, and it ends up close enough. But I'm gonna follow this recipe to a T because I'm not a huge eggplant lover. I only like it in very specific contexts, but for some reason this looked really good. So I want to cook it the way that it's supposed to be cooked, so that I don't mess it up, so that it's not too chewy or mushy or whatever. So we're gonna be strict chefs today. Can you hear the thunder? It stormed so hard here today, like harder than I've ever seen it storm where I live in Australia. And I was on the phone with CJ. He's in America at the moment visiting family. And I was like, I'm getting scared. It's so loud. It literally sounds like a neighbor's tree is getting struck by lightning. Like the thunder sounds so close. I hang up with him and immediately our tree falls over and hits the ground like less than a foot away from the house. It was so spooky. I feel like this year I feel like there's growth every year. I feel like people are always growing, but I feel like this year was like preparing for growth, if that makes sense. Like I can feel the rumblings of like something's coming, something big is changing, something's happening. And I feel like 2024 is gonna be the year where it actually happens. And like obviously one of those big changes is moving back to America. I've said this 500 times on my channel, but in case you're new, I've lived in Australia for 5 years. I moved here when I was 19 and I didn't know anyone, so I kind of like started my adulthood from scratch, kind of. Now I'm 24 and I'm moving home. And because I moved here at 19, I feel like my entire adulthood has been here. I like can't go a minute without thinking about it, without thinking about moving home. And CJ just landed back in America to visit his family, and he's moving home as well, a bit later than I am, but he's moving home as well. And we were just talking about how like freaky it is. Every time I've flown home to America to visit my family, I've had horrible, I don't know if you want to call it culture shock or what, but just horrible vibes for the first like week that I'm home. The culture is like quite different, at least like to the town that I live in, or the area of Australia I live in. So it's like kind of a lot to get used to, but then it's also just like you land at night usually and you're jet lagged, and then you go into this house on the like other side of the world and you just like, it's just weird vibes. I don't know how to explain it other than weird vibes. And he landed yesterday and he called me and he was like, dude, I can't believe that like next time this happens, it's gonna be permanent. Like I'm kind of dreading going home because I know the first week is gonna suck. Like I just know it is. But all of that being said, I can feel that this year, 2024, is gonna be full of like massive change and growth, and I think it's gonna be positive. It feels positive in my heart, and I don't even just mean like just the act of moving home itself. I feel like it's gonna lead to a lot of things. It's so funny because I like have a lot of confidence that 2024 is gonna be the year that like my career like sorts itself out, even though from where I'm standing right now, I have no idea how that's gonna happen. Like I feel so lost still, but I can feel the rumblings, like something's amping up. Like, I don't know, universal forces are at work right now and I can tell, and that's a really cool feeling. Remember months ago when I said I was gonna have a series on my channel called Comfy Cooking with Phoebe, where I was gonna get in my comfies and cook new recipes? I just realized that's what I'm doing. I also feel like 2024, one of my kind of resolutions or intentions or whatever you want to call it, is gonna be to focus on what I like rather than what I think I should like. So that can be like big things, whether it's like career goals, financial goals, like big goals in life. What do I want? Not what do I think I should want. But even just way smaller, on a way smaller scale. I've kind of talked about this before, but like even just like picking out outfits, going shopping, like what do I like? Not what do I see on Pinterest, not what do I think people will think I'm cool in. Like I don't want to care about that. I want to like go back to my natural instincts of like what do I like? What do I see and what like grabs my attention, without me consulting Pinterest first or like consulting Instagram first or like certain influencers. You know what I'm saying? Like I think it's awesome to get inspiration from like social media and Pinterest and stuff. It's so much fun, and in a sense like you will like find inspiration from the things that you like. Like it always is you making your own preferences, but I want to be really sensitive to like what is me and what is me trying to recreate something that I think will make me look cool. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. I ramble about these things on camera and then I feel like I'm not making any sense, but I know that sometimes people will ramble for a while, they'll go on a rant and then they'll be like, I don't know if that made any sense. And I was like right there with them the entire time. So I'm keeping all of this in case it resonates with someone. I'm also really excited about YouTube videos in 2024. I'm having so much fun filming. I like took a little break before my last video that I uploaded, and it was definitely much needed. I was feeling so uninspired, but again, I kind of feel like it's because I was putting pressure on myself to make videos that I thought I should make instead of just like playing. And I really want this channel to be about playing and about just like making whatever I would want to watch or whatever I would want to film. I feel like the hard part about being a newer YouTuber is that you don't really know who you're talking to. Like you're still very much in the process of like building a community, and like YouTube has its own algorithm, so it's showing your video to like the most random group of people and just like seeing what sticks. And so I feel like I don't yet have a specific like demographic of people or like personalities that I'm talking to yet. So it's like funny, like obviously I'll be myself no matter who's watching, but usually when you're talking, you know who's receiving the information, so you can kind of like a little bit tailor how you're acting to who's listening. Do you know what I'm saying? Like you'll talk to your sister differently than you'll talk to your friend versus your other friend. Like you're a different version of you to so many people. So it's like hard when you're talking to a camera because you're like, what version of myself am I? When it's just an inanimate object that I'm talking at, and it really is just me talking. So I feel like I'm still kind of getting in the swing of like figuring out who I am without anyone else around, which I think is a really beautiful thing. Like it's cool to have this thing that like pushes me a little bit extra hard to like really be myself and like kind of think a little bit harder about who that is. You're on top of my air fryer now. Oh, perfect. Perfect. Everything's 10 times harder when you're filming it. I feel like starting a YouTube channel was a big part of my 2023, and it's been so interesting to see how it's changed my life in little ways. Like, obviously you can probably assume that when you start filming yourself and editing yourself and looking at yourself more from a different perspective, you start to view your appearance differently. And it's like definitely changed my relationship with how I view how I look. It's always kind of a jump scare seeing what you look like back on camera and being like, that's what I look like. Like, it's so disorienting. But again, I feel like that's been a really positive thing, because I feel like it's a unique opportunity to get past that insecurity on like a whole new level. Like, it's like challenged me on a whole new level. So I feel like if I come out on top and like feel confident in how I look despite all of that, then it's like a double win, you know what I mean? The thing I didn't expect though is for the same thing to kind of happen with my personality. Like, in my normal life, I'm very confident in who I am, and I think I'm a funny person, like, but on camera, especially when you're new to talking to a camera, I'll watch back footage and I'll edit a vlog and I'll be like, oh my God, I'm so boring. Like, where's my personality? I don't have one. And it like makes me so self-conscious, honestly, because I feel like it's also because so many YouTubers, like big YouTubers, are big because they have big personalities, like huge, that you can't miss. Like, they have very distinct personalities, and like I said in my last video, could talk to a brick wall and could make a brick wall laugh. Whereas I feel like I'm more like kind of subtly witty, which doesn't really come across on camera, again, because I'm not talking to someone. Like, I feel like my humor thrives in conversation. And so sometimes I just feel like when I look back on videos, I'm like, where's my personality? Where did she go? So in 2024, my goal is both, I guess, to try to have my personality come across more on camera, which I think just comes with like getting more comfortable in front of the camera. But I also want to improve my confidence with that and just be like secure in how I come across. I feel like talking about all this stuff in a video is so meta, but that's just where we are with the internet right now. Why didn't I do this in the pot? I give up. We're putting it in the pot. One of my favorite things to do when I'm alone is just like do all the little pampery things that you only do like once every couple of weeks, like cleaning up your nails, plucking your eyebrows, doing a little face mask, like all the extra stuff that just like kind of takes a lot of time. So it's so nice to do when you have nothing but time and no one to hurry up for. I've really been liking the clean girl vibes. Not necessarily like as much in the way I dress, but more so like just having like naked nails that are like filed nicely. I've even been really liking plucking my eyebrows, which going along with my New Year's resolution of like just doing what I like instead of what I think I should like. I feel like so many people will yell at you for plucking your eyebrows. Don't touch your eyebrows, you'll regret it, blah blah blah. But I've done both. I had overplucked eyebrows in high school and then like went years without touching them. And I just like never really liked how that looked. I have really crazy eyebrows and they're so arched to the point where like I don't pluck them to make them arched. I pluck them to make them less arched. Like I take some off the top where they're really pointy. Anyway, I've just like realized I like how I look so much better when I have a really like clean line around my eyebrows. I just feel like you know what you like best, and I feel like it's good to try not to let that change with whatever trend is happening at the moment, you know? Like, do whatever you want. I feel like we all have really good instincts about what looks best on us, and I feel like you always end up feeling worse when you're trying to recreate or live up to something that you think you should be, versus like, I was confident as shit when I was picking out my own outfits in elementary school. Like, I loved getting dressed and I thought I looked so good. And now I'm in a phase where I look back at photos of when I was young and I'm like, that actually looked so good with my like skin tone and hair color. Like, I'm now finding myself being drawn towards the same kinds of colors that I was drawn towards when I was little, because it's just like your instinct. Without, like, when you're young and you're not on Pinterest or social media or following trends or anything, and you're just picking what you think looks good, I feel like everyone naturally has a good eye for it, you know? And it makes it really easy for you to have your own authentic style. I feel like I have overthought it for so long because I love style and fashion and stuff. I've talked about it a million times. And I'll go down rabbit holes of like looking on Pinterest, but then I don't want to look too trendy. So I try to be unique. So I try to find more unique outfits on Pinterest, but I don't want to be like, I still want to look effortless. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you do all this like almost research trying to like figure out what your style is. Whereas if you never looked at social media or Pinterest or anything and you just let yourself be drawn towards what your eye is naturally drawn towards, I feel like all those things would automatically happen. You would automatically pick the things that you look good in. You would automatically not be too trendy because not everyone is going to be drawn to the exact same things and the things that are in like on trend. And you would naturally just have your own unique style while still picking things that are flattering for you. You know what I mean? I feel like sometimes inspiration overload is a real thing, and consuming all of this content can make you really lose yourself when you think it's doing the opposite. Gonna do a craft. So every year for, I don't know how many years, I think I started doing this in 2018 going into 2019. And I don't know where I saw it, but my sister and I did it together, and then I've done it almost every year since. You get like a big poster board like this, and you're meant to fold it. But if you have OCD like me, folding a big, nice piece of paper makes you want to throw up. So we're just gonna use a straight edge and divide this into our sections. And the top half is for this past year, and the bottom half is for the year coming up. And then you have columns in each of them. And I think we did 4 or 5 different categories. I need to remind myself what they are. Okay, we're just gonna make our own. We're gonna do relationships, work and finances, personal / emotional / spiritual, whatever. I kind of want to do style. I think that would be fun, like combining home style and like fashion style. Just something fun, because that's a big part of my life. That could probably fit under personal, but now I don't know. I'm getting overwhelmed. I need to do 5. I only have 5 colors. Okay, I know I'm gonna do 5, so I'm gonna divide it into 5 columns, 2 rows, and then we'll decide exactly what those 5 are gonna be, because I'm stressed already. Remember when I said I had OCD? Clearly I was misdiagnosed because this is not the work of someone with OCD. It serves the purpose. It has the kid touch. Let's do 20, 23, 20, 24. Let's do work and finance over here in green, fitting. I know for a fact I'm gonna spell something wrong in these permanent markers. We'll do in the middle, personal / lifestyle. Relationships. Okay, let's do health and creativity. Health, creativity. I feel like I haven't even explained what I'm doing that well. But you have these categories, and on the top half is reflections from the year, and then the bottom half is gonna be like intentions and goals for the next year. Let's start with work and finance, because I know what I wanna write. I think I'm gonna go right to goals and intentions now. I'll read a couple of these so that you kind of understand the idea. They're just bullet points. Some of my work and finance reflections from 2023 were listen to my gut and didn't do farming or get a graphic design job. That's kind of niche, but I'm in Australia, and if I wanted to extend my visa another year, I would have had to do a farming job. And I've heard that they treat you really poorly around these parts. And then the other option I could have done is worked towards getting like sponsored by a graphic design employer to stay here. Essentially, there are some other things involved, but all of that made logical sense that I should do that stuff, but my gut was just screaming at me not to do it. And now that I'm like comfortable with the idea of moving back to America, I'm so glad in hindsight that I did not get any of those jobs that would have made me miserable. I did a 3-month no buy, so I talked about this a little bit on my YouTube channel, but I have a little bit of a spending problem. So you could say specifically on like clothes and shoes, jewelry, whatever. And so I wanted to challenge myself to not buy a single thing like that for 3 months. And I did it successfully, and I actually did it pretty easily. I didn't almost cave or anything. So that was a really good confidence boost. And I feel like since then, I haven't bought as much as I bought before I had done that. So my 2024 goals with work and finance are to start managing my money better and like investing and stuff. Work towards eventually making money from a creative job that I love, not graphic design. I'm doing a pole instructor training program. So I think around March, I'm doing a program to become certified to instruct pole, which is so fun. I want to redo my budget and keep up with tracking my spending this time. Let's do creativity next, because I feel like that's like kind of along the same lines. In this last year, I started my YouTube channel and started my podcast that I have with my sister. 28 videos on YouTube and 21 episodes of the podcast with Maddie. As of now, as of New Year's Eve, I'm at 624 subscribers, which I just wanted to write down so that I can remember that exact number at the end of next year. So kind of correlating with that, my intentions are to stay consistent on YouTube and not be afraid to experiment or mix it up. And I want to switch to editing on Final Cut Pro because Premiere is pissing me off. My sister and I want to start doing video with our podcast. We couldn't really do that because I'm in Australia, she's in America, but when we're together, it'll be so much easier for us to do video. Okay, let's do personal and lifestyle now. This category is a lot of what I've already been talking about in this video, like moving home and starting a completely different life chapter and setting the intention to feel more confident with my own preferences and choices, big and small, no matter what they are. And I also set the intention to make every place that I live this coming year somehow feel like my home and feel like me, because I'm gonna be doing a lot of staying with family for the next little while. And I haven't lived with family since I was like 18 or something. So it's gonna be a little bit different, but I want to set the intention going into it. It is my space as well. Obviously I don't own it in the literal sense, but like I want it to feel like me and my home in some way. Okay, let's do relationships. My reflections are that I built such a good group of girlfriends. I've had great girlfriends here for ages, but we met some new people and like welcomed some new people into our group, and it's been so lovely. And then some of my intentions were stay close with CJ, my partner, in fun and creative ways through long distance, because we'll be long distance for a while, most of 2024 honestly, and to stay in touch with my Australian friends. Yeah, there were more, but I won't say all of them. Okay, last category is health. I didn't really climb much. I kind of fell off of my train of doing strength and flexibility training outside of pole, but having my treetops job did make me feel fit because I had to do course check a lot, so that was nice built-in exercise. My resolutions, I want to try to run a 5K, which might sound easy, but I literally don't know if I could even run 1K without stopping. Running is like my weakest point when it comes to fitness. So I feel like if I can overcome that hurdle, it'll make me feel so much more confident in my like overall health and fitness. I want to keep learning new recipes. I want to keep climbing at least a little bit. Yay, so we're done. Oh my gosh. So if you haven't done your resolutions this year, this is a great way to do it because it includes reflections as well. And it's nice, you can kind of like relate them to each other. And then you have this to look back on next year. I will see you next week. Bye guys.